Pop the top, it's time for another video to drop, and today bringing you guys the second developer journal for TEW 2020. If you missed the very first developer's journal, I recommend you going back and checking it out. What the developer journal is basically every single time there's a new Total Extreme Wrestling game coming out, the booking simulator that this channel was founded on, there's always a developer's journal which documents basically the new features that are going to be in the next game. And with TEW 2020 coming out sometime in December next year, there is now a developer's journal coming out every couple days or so. And now we have the very second one. So if you missed the first one, go check it out. It was a huge feature. It was a feature that I wanted pretty much, probably the biggest wish list feature for me, which was controlling a child company or a developmental company, as some of you call it. It was definitely one of my biggest wants in the game. But now we have a second developer's journal, so let's go ahead and read it. Quality of life changes. In this entry, rather than looking at a new feature, I'll instead be discussing some of the small changes that have a big improvement on the user's quality of life. As we've confirmed before, TEW20 is going to be a 1366 by 768 resolution, which means that it's physically wider than previous games. One of the things you'll notice when playing the game is that the extra space has been used to combine many screens into one. To give just one example, the brand screen, which used to consist of many separate windows, is now housed entirely on one screen. This means less clicking for the user and is more intuitive, as you'll have access to more information in one place. TEW 2020 will also feature the same sort of interface as WMMA 5, the mixed martial arts game, given that that was so popular with people. If you haven't played WMMA 5, you can see the example in screenshot number 3 here. This means that there'll be a customizable control bar at the bottom of the screen where you can have quick links to various sections, jump to worker, or company summaries, etc. This will make life a lot easier for the player, as you could set it up, for example, so that you can go straight to your roster or past results without ever leaving the main website screen again. Again, this potentially saves you a lot of clicking and is more intuitive. A very small change that will have an enormous benefit is the new flash message system. In the horizontal taskbar at the top of the game, there is an area that tells you what version you are currently playing. This doubles as a message display too. For example, suppose you hit the save button. Normally you get a pop-up confirmation window which would require you to pause or click OK to shut it. In TEW 2020, this confirmation window is entirely removed. Instead, the version text disappears and the word save will flash up in a different color to get your attention for 2 seconds before fading out, going back to showing the version. This system replaces all the confirmation windows in the game, thus potentially saving you hundreds, if not thousands, of pauses and clicks. The final small change I'll be discussing today is new look for windows. Each window in the game now has 3 icons in the taskbar, as in the bar at the top of the window, which you use it to drag it around. Notepad, handbook, and close. Firstly, this means that Notepad is always available no matter where you are. Secondly, it means that you can always get to the player's handbook with a single click. The handbook is extremely detailed in TEW 2020 and also has the added advantage that it will automatically jump to the correct section. So if you're in the finance section and hit the handbook icon, you'll not only open the handbook window, but also immediately be looking at the section relatable to finances. Finally, the close button is now in the top right-hand corner rather than its traditional place in the bottom right. This will take you a few days to get used to when you play, but is ultimately more user-friendly as it means the windows make better use of the available space. A quick unrelated note about operating systems. There have been a few people asking about whether the game will be available for Apple devices. To clarify, the game has been taken apart and redone, but it is still in the same Microsoft-based programming language as before, so if you want to use it on an Apple product or any non-Microsoft platform, you will still need to use emulation software. We just read a lot of stuff right there. But the stuff that I read, I'm pretty happy with the quality of life changes that they've brought. Something with TEW that I've always had an issue with, just from a YouTube standpoint, is the resolution has always been really iffy. Now that there's going to be this new resolution, which I still kind of wish that the resolution was a changeable resolution per se. But with this new resolution, it does mean that it's going to be a lot easier to do YouTube stuff with, 100%. B, it's just going to look nicer now, honestly, because back on like TEW 2016, TEW 2013, etc., I always felt that the window was just a little too small, a little too condensed. I wish it was a little bit bigger. I wish we could increase the size a bit to make things a little bit easier to read. And, well, now we have that. I'm very curious about the WMMA 5 system that they brought in. It does sound really cool that there's a customizable control bar at the bottom of the web screen. That does sound really dope, and I'm kind of excited to see how that's going to work in the actual game. I might even download the demo of WMMA 5 just to go check that out myself. But it does sound pretty dope. The flash message system is something that's really going to be useful because it just takes down clicks. And I mean, I think we can all agree if you've played TW before that there is just a ton of unnecessary clicks. That I mean, if you could take those out, which that's going to do, that just helps life. That just helps you where you don't have to be clicking 24/7. It gets you off the train of thought. You load back in, you have a great show, you load out, and all of a sudden a big message pops up as you're trying to think of this idea. Yo, what am I gonna do? The Undertaker just got hurt. I think I might put. You need to click this OK box before you can go anywhere, and then you lose your train of thought, and then it just gets to you. So without that scenario, it's great. I mean, it's gonna be dope to see what's gonna happen. The Windows situation is very interesting that the notepad is going to be available everywhere now. That's something that I was always hoping that would come into TW, and I'm glad that that's finally now a thing. I'm very curious about how all these new changes with the resolutions basically are going to affect skin makers that make the skins for the game. I'm really curious about what the skins are going to look like once we start getting those because from the sounds of it, it's going to be a lot easier because there's going to be a whole lot less of windows. So because of that, maybe more people will be getting into making skins for the game. And with that comes change. And I mean, you're able to pretty much freshen up your game whenever you want to, the more skins that there are. So it'll be dope to see all that, man. I'm not going to really take too much time with these videos in terms of trying to just like keep you here all day. I mean, we read the quality of life changes. That's a great thing. They are great things. I mean, it's not too crazy big. The whole screen resolution being much bigger and meaning that I can at least do 1280 by 720 video now for TW videos. That's a welcome change because I do kind of like despise the whole white or the whole like vertical bars that you see a lot of people use in their videos, even though I do it as well for my TW videos. I just don't like the look because I mean, at some point it becomes too what's the word I'm looking for? It becomes too everyone's doing the same thing basically. And I wish that we didn't have to, but it looks weird when you stretch it out. Now we're not going to have to stretch it out because it's actually going to be pretty good. And that resolution is actually going to be able to be upscaled to like 1080p very easily. So on a YouTube perspective, that's a really dope feature, and I can't wait to use that. So far, though, guys, the very first feature announced, the child company feature, is definitely my favorite feature. I think it's going to take a lot to top that. Unless they pop out of nowhere and it's like, oh, yeah, guys, you know what? There's going to be online play where you can play via Wi-Fi with your friends. You don't have to send the save data back and forth. Unless they announce that, I really don't think the child company playing as is going to be, like, changed. Like, I don't think that anything like that is going to top it. Because playing as child company was probably my biggest want coming out of TW 2016, as well as a TV taping schedule where you can have one day and you get to just book a TV taping, and then you have more chances of like your workers getting hurt and stuff like that. But I don't know if that's going to make it in the game either. That's pretty much my biggest wish list now that the child company situation is already handled, is probably TV tapings, next to online play, of course. But like I said, though, I pretty much do agree that the child company is probably the best feature so far. Granted, there's only 2 announced, and we still have until next year before the game even drops. There's going to be a ton of developer journals, man. That means there's going to be a ton of videos where we're going to come on here and react to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, though. If you are new, go and hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 2K. If you already subscribed, go and hit that bell so every single time we upload. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Comment down below. Let me know what you think of this developer journal update. And as always and forever, take it easy, guys. Peace.